In today's video, I survived 100 days underground in hardcore Minecraft. In these 100 days, I have 3 simple goals: defeat the Ender Dragon, defeat the Wither, and start my underground empire. It definitely wasn't easy, especially since I haven't played Minecraft in over 2 years, and on top of that, I had to defeat the Ender Dragon twice due to some unfortunate circumstances, but overall it was an extremely fun journey, and if you would like to see me go from this to this, then grab some popcorn and a snack and sit back and relax as I present to you my journey of 100 days. Day 0, aka day 1, I spawn in and I kind of just look around to see what I'm going to have to be dealing with for the next 100 days. So as I'm walking, I come across a glow squid and give it the only greeting it should get. Anyway, besides my hatred for glow squids, I make my way up the waterfall, and hey look, it's a tree, or at least I think it is. I can't really see yet. So I take a couple minutes to try to address that, and it kind of just doesn't work. So I go to beating my wood. I mean the wood, definitely not my wood. That would be weird. I decided to trim up the bush a bit and made I made myself a pickaxe out of the wood that I gathered. And I got straight to mining some good old cobblestone. I made myself a furnace and upgraded my pickaxe, so I plopped that bad boy down and decided that I would go mining around the area. There wasn't really anything that good, but I ended up with getting some coal, so it was worth it. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I certainly couldn't at the time. This is the last natural spawning tree in the next 100 days, so you just knew we had to commit deforestation. So at this point, I kind of realized that I'm going to need a lot of dirt, and there wasn't any down there, so I decided to go to the top of the cave just to excavate this pile of dirt. Definitely well worth it. After collecting all that dirt, I was finally able to make my first torches, and that means I could place my first torches, which also means I can see again. Thank you, Minecraft. It's finally day 1, so I decide to make a small tree farm just to keep myself occupied while my ores are smelting. Yes, I know it's ugly, but it had to do for right now since I had nothing better to do and I was going to move at some point anyway. The iron finally smelted, which means that I could finally upgrade some gear. Once I had my gear, I decided it would be best if I go out and try to look for some source of food. I got exactly what I needed when a spider tried to sucker punch me, so I
Wait,
hit
are
him
you
back with the super effective hits, acquiring his white stringy stuff. I decided to leave this clip in here just to show you how much I'm struggling after not playing this game for 2 years. Like, it's kind of really bad.
Oh, wow. That was way off.
So after completely scuffing up building a fishing rod, it took me an entire day to get one fish. An entire day. It's crazy. But I was absolutely desperate for food, which means I had to go back to doing this.
This is a very slow process. I won't lie.
So after fishing my life away, I finally got enough food to the point that I could regen health. Now that I finally had full HP, I made some armor and looked amazing while doing it, and decided to pack up and go because I was absolutely sick of living here and I wanted to adventure. This little journey helped me realize just how infested these caves are. Like I knew they were infested before, but it just got really bad. Like they just kept coming out of nowhere. And at one point I got like so frustrated that I kind of just rushed to the skeleton and almost ended my entire run. So yeah, it was pretty stressful. After all those stressful encounters, I just dig myself into the side of a wall, and this marks the point where I kind of start eating people's meat. So for the rest of day 5, I kind of just mined around because I figured that was the safest thing that I could do at that point. At the start of day 6, I found a new area, but I saw a skeleton, and those things are the worst mob in the game. No one could change my mind. Hey look, a giant hole in the ground. I definitely shouldn't jump.
That's a mistake. That's a mistake.
Okay, well I probably shouldn't have done that, but I didn't die, so it's alright. At this point, I kind of just take any fights I can with spiders because I really need their white stringy stuff because I really want a bed. Hey look, a hole in the ground. But this time I didn't actually jump, surprisingly. But I thought this was a pretty good place to settle, so I decided to make my tree farm 2.0. Now that I had my tree farm up and running, it meant that I needed to get my fish pond up and running, so I went around grabbing as much water as I could and almost died in the process. If you guys couldn't tell already, I am really good at almost dying whenever I do anything. But hey, now that I got the water, the fish pond's up and ready, which means... After sufficiently going insane, I went out for an ore run and ended up being mobbed by a bunch of zombies. One of them was a zombie villager, so I just knew that I had to get him to a safe spot. And I succeeded. Until I didn't and I broke the wrong block and then he got out, which was awkward. I was forced to play Ring Around the Rosie for a bit, but eventually I was able to get him back in his hole. I checked my inventory and I noticed that one of the zombies dropped a potato, which meant I finally had a source of food, and that made me very excited. I continued exploring for a bit longer, but when I came back, he was completely gone. I should have expected that. With the thought of luscious potatoes on my mind, I collected as much dirt as I could from my tree farm so that I could plant these luxurious potatoes. I had no design in mind, so I just decided to wing it like I did every math test in high school. Did exactly how I expected. Extremely average, but I got the job done, and that's what matters.
That 5, man. I'm a panda, bro. I shouldn't be doing this. I'm literally losing my mind. It's just it's bad. This is getting really bad.
Okay, so after that slight breakdown, I knew I needed to see something new, so I went out exploring and came across this cave. At first, I thought it was just something that I had already seen before, but it definitely wasn't because it was a spawner and I never saw this one before. I went back to my base to make a shield just in case it was a skeleton spawner, and I ended up having this really hype moment.
This is it. Oh my god, wait, it's 2? I didn't notice. I didn't notice. Food, more food. Fortune 2? I don't have diamonds. That would be great if I had a diamond pickaxe. Another one. Oh my god, luck of the sea. I don't know what luck of the sea does, I'm gonna be honest.
I got home as quickly as possible to enchant my fishing rod. I was tired and I was planning to get off, so I just gave it one last try and
Wait, wait. I could sleep. Oh my gosh.
as you can see, I had the biggest relief of my life. Wow, that sounds wrong. Anyway, I decided to plant the rest of my seed and I turned shaders on. I'm kind of regretting not playing with shaders on from the start since I think it looks really good, but I don't know how you guys feel about it, so tell me down in the comments what you prefer. Um I think I'm just going to stick to vanilla textures just because I didn't start off with shaders, so it feels kind of weird to switch now. Anyway, back to normal Minecraft. Day 11, I kind of decided that I would light up the top of this area since I wanted to build there. So that's what I did for the rest of the day. And of course, I almost had to die. You know, it's just the regular at this point. I guess the only other highlight is that I made a smoker. So that's something. Yeah, like I'm gonna be honest, living in a cave, there are some days that just nothing happens and that's just how it is. That's just Minecraft in a cave. But hey, at least day 12 is a little bit more eventful. I mean, I find a mine shaft, so I would say that's a lot more eventful, I'm gonna be honest, than making a smoker. But I found this zombie villager, which was sad because I had to kill him. I had no way to get him home. I did step in a little bit of lava, but there was water right there, so I was completely fine. I said, "This is Sparta," and kicked this guy off the mountain, and you know what? I had a little bit of a happy dance. After my happy dance, I looked around the area to try to find a way down, which I eventually was able to do. And if you've made it this far, you probably know what's going to happen next. Yeah, I'm going to almost die again. One was really stupid though, since I guess I forgot that they can go through one block spaces. But yeah, this one really got me. And after this, I was just so terrified. I kind of just AFK'd for a couple minutes. Only minutes after the spider incident, I almost die again to two baby zombies. But honestly, if they hadn't tried to consume me, I wouldn't have found my first diamonds. So honestly, it was completely worth it, and I thank them a lot. Sadly, after that, there wasn't really anything of note that happens in the mine shaft. It's completely empty and it's just kind of useless, but I didn't want to leave empty-handed, so I made sure to just dig in a straight line until I found some more diamonds. That's what I did. It took a while, but there was nothing else. But once I got out of the mine shaft, I actually saw something in the corner of my eye that really excited me because I have never been in this biome before. I've never explored the Cave and Cliffs update because I wasn't around at that point. I stopped playing. So this was amazing for me. I literally just started ransacking everything because this is exactly what I wanted. I wanted to be here. I saw an axolotl for the first time and I instantly coughed up 3 iron to pick that thing up. Please give it a name. It needs a name. I was having such a good time in this biome, just collecting as many blocks and items as possible. I even got my hands on more axolotls, which was great. I was feeling super rejuvenated after spending a good 2 hours in this biome, but I did need to head home at some point, and I was a little sad to leave. But now that I was home, I could finally make a diamond pickaxe, which was well worth it. And I mean, it's just beautiful, isn't it? It took a while, but I finally have one, and I'm finally progressing a lot. You know we have to give it a name, so like and subscribe. Nah, nah, nah. I'm just joking. I'm messing with you. Let's name it Ricky. No, even better. Let's go Rick Grimes. I kind of like Rick Grimes. This pickaxe is named Rick Grimes. If you know who that is, then you're amazing. So day 21, I kind of decided to work on some smaller building projects. I decided to make this little spherical thing because I just wanted a place to mine, honestly. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm using it for now. Unfortunately, I came to the realization that my crops were kind of in the way of a build that I had planned, so I just had to get rid of them. But I finally started working on the build, and that build is just a bridge. It's a little bridge that I wanted to connect to like different places around the area. For not having built anything in almost 2 years, I was really proud of it, and I felt like it was pretty decent and, a good start for 2 years gone. The next task was to rebuild my potato farm since I needed that desperately. So I mined out this whole area just so I could have more space to work with. Now I have a really fun idea. I'm gonna show you in three, two, one. I mean, look at him. Look how amazing he is. I mean, how could you not love him? Me and him look exactly alike. And if you don't think so, then I don't know what to tell you. Okay, but back on the farm. I ended up digging this area out specifically for the farm itself. It's a very simple farm since I'm not a really big fan of automated farms. I'm much more of an old school farm guy, and I just wanted to try to stick to my roots, and that's what I did. Made something that I made as a kid, and I love the way it came out. So yeah, day 23, I started making a staircase up to my platform, which ended up taking way too long since I wasn't liking the way it looked at all. So I changed it 3 times. So yeah, what you're looking at isn't even like the second iteration, it is the fourth iteration. By this point, I was kind of just sick of building and just wanted more diamonds. So I went to my digging hole and just dug straight down and until I hit like Y negative 55, I don't know, and just started strip mining until I got diamonds. I ended up doing this for a while and I got a lot of diamonds because of Rick Grimes, so he was definitely the MVP right here. On my way back, I actually ended up running into a mine shaft. Ultimately, it was useless, and I swear they have made mine shafts worse because there's no way they're just this bad. Maybe I'm just that unlucky. Also, here's a clip of me almost dying again, which once again leads me to diamonds, which is kind of funny, honestly. On my way back home, I grabbed a couple of obsidian since I knew I wanted to go to the nether soon, and I didn't want to worry about that later. But finally, with the help of Rick Grimes, I was able to get a full set of diamond armor. And man, I was looking so much better now, and it feels great to have a full set after all of this time. But now that I had good armor, the next course of action was going to the nether. In the nether, I actually spawned in the exact biome I was looking for, which was really helpful because I could just spend a while collecting a bunch of resources since I really just liked the look of these blocks and I wanted to build with them. At some point, I ended up coming across Bastion, which I of course explored, and nothing came out of it. I got a couple of ancient debris, but overall I had nothing worth a while. I ended up stumbling across another one not so far after, which was also useless. I just really wanted to show you my MLG aim on the gas. But after what felt like an eternity, I stumbled across another fortress. At this point, I was just overjoyed because I just wanted to get home and I needed to leave. I was clearly overstaying my welcome, so I just ran in and out. Without thinking much, I got my items and I just left. I got home, I made a brewing stand, and then I had the realization there isn't any sand in caves. I had to do some exploiting here. I don't know if you would consider this cheating. You guys can tell me down in the comments, but I remembered that all I had to do was stay inside the cave and not go outside, and I didn't. What I did was just dig under a lake until the sand fell and just kept repeating the process until I had enough sand to the point that I was comfortable. After I was done exploiting the rules, I headed home and turned sand into glass so I could finally get some bottles. Once I made the glass bottles, honestly, I thought everything would go smoothly after this, but I actually end up messing up the potions like 3 times in a row because, again, I suck at Minecraft right now. But after the struggle, I was finally able to make the strength potions I was after. And you know what I'm trying to do right now? Yeah, that's gonna come back to haunt me. But hey, now into the next phase of this side quest, I had to just wait around and hope a zombie villager spawn. So I kind of just kept constantly waiting for more mobs to spawn in, and not much happened. But I there was this cool moment where I got a disc, and it was pretty cool. I don't make a jukebox ever. I kind of forget about it, which is kind of sad. But hey, it was fun in the moment. I actually end up deciding going to a different area, and I waited there for a while, and I actually got exactly what I was looking for. So I led the old dead zombie back to where I wanted it to be, and of course I almost die in the process of getting him in there. But I did eventually get him in there, and I splashed him with a strength potion and tried to feed him an apple. Yeah, so I got the wrong potion, which was kind of awkward. I did fix it though, and of course I celebrated with a dance. Day 38, and I kind of just start working on the tree again, and there's absolutely no way I end up changing my design again, right? Right? For the rest of day 38 through 41, I kind of just cleaned out this area since I just wanted more space, honestly. I wanted it to be a little bit more open and look a little nicer. And at this point, I kind of just needed a break, so that's exactly what I did. Day 42, I got back from my little break and went straight back into building. I wanted to add like a little ring around the stem of my tree, and I just thought it would look cool. But of course, it wasn't only the platform that I did, I also changed the staircase for the fifth time. But this time I actually really liked it. Not really. I kind of just gave up and AFK'd. Day 43. If you look at my hotbar, then you know what's coming up next. While I AFK'd, I decided that I was going to do the end fight. So that's exactly what I set out to do. But it was actually a little annoying since I had to go through this underwater cave. I grabbed a magma block, so it kind of saved me a little bit of time. It still took me around 40 minutes to get to the stronghold, but I wasn't complaining too much since I was finally able to raid a library, since I desperately needed these books because there was no other way for me to get any type of books. After I raided the library, I took a straight line from there and ended up at the end portal. But of course, I put all of the eyes in and I was still missing one. Right there and then, I knew I was going to have to speed run to try and get some Eyes of Ender. Again, emphasis on the try. Anyway, after getting the portal set up, I jump in, and I don't know how lucky I had to be, honestly, to directly TP into another fortress. But again, I wasn't complaining at all. I put the Eye of Ender, and finally, I could go to the end. But I was really scared, so I had to hype myself up a bit, but I eventually jumped in. The Battle of the Ages has started, and honestly, I was doing really well at first, taking out every tower one by one. But then, this is where that incident I was talking about in the beginning happens. Yeah, so I really don't know what happened. Maybe I pressed the wrong button on the keyboard, or maybe I misclicked and closed the program, but yeah, I lost all of my footage of beating the dragon, and at this point, I was genuinely devastated. It was my first time I ever beat the Ender Dragon, and it was completely gone. I was actually so sad to the point that I texted my partner, telling her how frustrated I was. So yeah, it wasn't fun, but I decided that I was going to continue my journey and I would vow to be back on day 100. But as for right now, I needed to go end city hunting. So that's exactly what I did. After going through a couple of end cities, I can sufficiently say I really hate shulkers. Like, I'm fairly sure for more than 80% of the time I was there, I was just constantly floating and being hit. I was just really annoyed by this. Like, it kept happening over and over and over. But there was a point where it did actually help me a lot, since once I got to the main structure, the little ship thing, I ended up using them as help to boost me over there. I mean, at that point, like, it's free real estate. So once I saw an opening, I just instantly ran for it like I was Forrest Gump. And finally, I had my wing. So at this point, I was still extremely stressed, and I kind of forgot about the dragon head, and I just headed home. Like, I don't even remember later on. I just don't get a dragon head. So hopefully you guys can forgive me on that. Maybe if I make another one, I'll go back and get a dragon head. But finally, I'm going back to the portal and I jump. And honestly, I know that people always skip these credits, but I just couldn't. This was the first time since the initial release of Minecraft on the Xbox that I actually killed the Ender Dragon. And reading this conversation, these like end credits at this stage of my life, man, I'm not even gonna lie, it really hit home. And I just don't take anything for granted. Just enjoy every little thing in life. All right, that's my quote. So after having a slight breakdown, I collected myself and gained a new sense of motivation. So yeah, this entire wall has to go. The reason being is that I want my base to be located at this area, and if you look at the number of days that pass, yeah, this took a hot minute. But luckily, unlike me, you guys don't have to sit through that, so I can skip. After what felt like years of mining, I could finally start outlining the place that is gonna have builds. I will say right now that the build is not mine, so I will link the original creator's work so you can actually see it for yourself. Since I want to make sure this is clear in the video, this isn't a tutorial, and I think they deserve credit for all their work they put into the design, so please go check them out if you'd like to build this for yourself. Sorry for the little disclaimer, I just wanted to make sure we're all on the same page, but back to the build. The first build is the entrance to my base. As I said before, I'm following a tutorial. However, I didn't have most of the blocks that this guy actually used in the video, which meant I had to improvise, which was kind of helpful since I felt like I could actually put my own twist on it and avoid feeling like it was a complete copy. And honestly, I really loved the color palette that I used. It definitely gave it a sort of vibe and personality. And because of that kind of uniqueness, I honestly came to really love this build and just really enjoy the way it came out. Now that I had the entrance done, I went straight into my favorite part of this entire build, the garden. I know you guys don't know this, but I absolutely love gardens in Minecraft and in real life. It's something that whenever I see done well, I literally jump for joy and just kind of fanboy over it. Sorry for that little tangent. Back to the build itself. The garden that I'm currently making is like a 4 quadrant garden. And I just love the concept of that. And I just really wanted to build it and make it as beautiful as possible. Also, if any of you guys are wondering how I got the dirt, I thought I'd give a little example. So I went back to spawn and kind of just did the same method I did with the sand, except that while I was in the end, I was able to get a silk touch pickaxe, which was amazing and saved me a lot of stress. Okay, back to quadrant 2 of 4 of the garden. Quadrant 2 was extremely fun to build, honestly. It was a fairly simple build in that it's just a bridge that overlooks a small pond. But the thing that really brought it together was the details around the edge of the pond itself. It brought everything together nicely, and it's just overall, I love the design. So once again, shout out to the creator. Quadrant 3 of 4 was definitely the least interesting. It was a small little fish tower thing. I don't really know. It connected to a pond that ran under the bridge, but honestly, it's a cute build and it was super quick to make. Honestly, the highlight of all of this was that there was a creeper that followed me and just didn't leave me alone. And I was kind of afraid that it was going to blow up. So that was fun. I love how all of this is coming together. And for quadrant 4, I have something special to me. This wasn't a part of the creator's original design. I put this in for myself ultimately, and I don't regret it. But if you don't want to hear any more sappiness, then skip to this timestamp. If you know what I'm building right now, then you're an OG. And I'm really happy you're watching my video. So this build is from my favorite Minecraft YouTuber. He goes by the name Stampy Longhead, and he was my childhood hero. And honestly, my whole inspiration to even have the courage to start my own channel. You know, I want to be able to give what he gave to me. The ability to follow your dreams and passions and look at everything with a sense of childlike excitement and imagination. And now that I'm growing older and kind of, going to college and all that, it's kind of what I want my mindset and outlook to be. So, Stampy, if you ever see this, thank you for everything you've ever done. You know, all those kids who watch your channel, they were affected by you in some sort of way. You've paved the way for so many people, and I always wanted to be in that love garden, so I decided to build it myself. Um, but if you do see this somehow, then I'd love to be in your love garden someday. But once again, thank you for everything. Okay, so now that quadrant 4 is done, I went straight into building my actual main hub. I realized that I was starting to run short on time, and I still needed to defeat the Wither. So ultimately, I didn't really experiment that much on this build. I decided to follow as closely as I could, just to save some time, and honestly, it did help. I do feel a little bad, but at the end of the day, I needed to. But if you couldn't tell already, these builds are heavily inspired by Japanese architecture, which means that, of course, my base is going to be a giant castle, or was supposed to be. The only issue is I don't have enough time, right? There's too much stone to clear out, and it's just too much time to build. So right now, I'm just going to have to make it shorter than the creator intended to make it. But if I do make a sequel to this video, I promise I'll finish it. I'll finish the entire city, and I'll build my empire, and it will look amazing. But since day 100 it was slowly catching up, I kind of just needed to get it done. So hopefully you guys can understand that. I finally got to the interior of the house, which meant I was finally almost done. I just had to get that done as quick as possible, and it was pretty quick. Ended up being around 40 minutes, but honestly, I would say that it's completely worth it. I think it came out beautifully, and now it's time to turn on shaders. I mean, look at it with shaders. I think it looks really good. I ended up adding the moss and the hanging vines to the ceiling just to make it look more natural, and I mean, it looks so good. But tell me down in the comments if you prefer shaders or not. I'm still debating on that because I do like regular Minecraft, but ultimately it's up to you guys. Whatever my viewers want, right? Okay, so now I'm starting to feel the rush of things. It's day 90 and I need to kill the Wither still. Technically, that's the only thing that's left on my to-do list. So I enchant all my stuff and enchant swords until I get looting, upgraded my gear and went straight into the nether. You can tell how rushed I am due to the fact that I did not check myself out after I put on the armor. Like, that's a bad sign. Anyway, back to the task at hand. I needed skeleton skulls and fast. So I ran around killing a bunch, and I accidentally got 2 off camera, but I got 2 more on camera just to make it up to you guys. Now that I had all the skulls, all I needed to do was kill the wither. But I stalled for a bit just because I was kind of scared. After a bit of stalling, I dug out this area, and right when I was about to spawn the wither, a zombie attacked me. So I took him out and threw his meat everywhere. I mean everywhere. But now it's finally the big moment. So at first everything was fine. He was kind of just stuck in this position for a while until he said nuh-uh and just started nailing me. I got really close to dying at times, so I got scared and ran, but I forgot something really important. The wither heals, and I kind of let him heal a lot, but when I noticed this, I decided I was just going to go balls to the wall and just started wailing on him. This was extremely risky, but apparently these spiders wanted all the smoke and just decided to hop in and help me, and it kind of saved me. They died right away, but mad respect to them. They helped the win. And just like that, it was finally all over. My heart was literally beating out of my chest at this point. So that was not fun. I couldn't relax for long, sadly, since I needed to do one more thing before I fought the Ender Dragon. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with y'all right now. I actually did some ancient debris hunting earlier in the 100 days, just off screen. But in my opinion, I just think it's really boring to watch. It's all just the same thing. And I kind of didn't want that taking space in the video. But yeah, here's me collecting some, I guess. It's not really fun to watch, but knock yourself out. It's day 97 now, and it's 3 days before the big day. But I still need a beacon, so I gather up all my treasure and turn them into blocks. And I did, and honestly, I was super proud of what I've accomplished. I was so ready to just be done at this point. Started day 98, I was prepared to finally beat the Ender Dragon once and for all. I had planned for it to be day 98 since I knew it took about 2 days to get to the end portal, so I made sure to set out just that amount of time. But I actually got there a little early, so I AFK'd until day 100. It's finally time! Let's do this. And that was it. It's finally over. And honestly, this took way longer than I expected, but thank you guys for watching. And if you made it this far, you're amazing. Please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you all in the next video.